Alright, last video of the day. Chapter 15 and Chapter 16 of WristClocks. Time is not yours to keep. Chapter 15, Inherited Time. Sarah knows what Ellis is capable of, but the killer sees no time left worth reclaiming from her. The detective words still rang in her ears. We'll put a car outside, just in case. Just in case Ellis meant it. Just in case the sister she once braided hair with and hid under the bed sheets during the thunderstorms was now a killer. Sarah already knew. Ellis's message hadn't been subtle, a voicemail, low, calm, deliberate. I remember the clock in Mom's room, how it ticked, even after she died. Have you ever thought about how some people outlast their time? Tick-tock, love you. She told the police, showed them the message. Detective Cole had listened twice, Detective Vega 3 times. They believed her, but belief wasn't enough. Not when Ellis was out there, somewhere, watching, calculating. Sarah had moved twice in 3 weeks, changed her phone, didn't sleep much. The ticking was back, and the pipes, the radiator, the back of her skull. Tick-tock. And police were asking for any tips related to the recent series of murders now unofficially dubbed the Timepiece Killings. Authorities have yet to release details, but it is confirmed that carved clock imagery is consistent across multiple crime scenes. Residents in 3 Bay Area neighborhoods are forming neighborhood patrols after reports that the victims appear unrelated and random. The mayor has issued a statement asking for calm. Earlier victims, once considered suicides, are now being reclassified. Among them, Karen B., a retired social worker, Greg Martinez, a substitute teacher, and Dana Foster, a parole officer. All 3 had been prior reports filed against them by unnamed individuals. Tick-tock. Greg Martinez left work 15 minutes early every Thursday. Time, he said, was his. He had watched him for weeks. There was no violence, no sin, but there was theft. Time taken that didn't belong to him anymore. Martinez had failed to report an incident where a student just 10 years ago failed to act. He had sealed the record, but he had read it. He knew the details. Time had moved on, but it hadn't been earned. So he took it back. 4:47. That was the time he carved. The time Greg left work the day he died. A correction. Their time was no longer theirs to keep. Dana Foster had turned parole into punishment. She made people wait, denied them the seconds they hadn't lost yet. She spoke in delays. 8:22. The time she denied a man freedom he had earned. She too was corrected. Tick-tock. The walls of the task room were lined with clocks, drawn, printed, or pinned in photos. The new board had 2 separate columns, hers and his. Mason circled the words reclamation on a notepad. They're not random, not to him, she said. Every one of his victims took time that wasn't theirs. Abuse of power, stolen hours, moral failure. And Ellis, she's something else entirely. Meg added, she's trying to steal his time. Or she already did. He tapped a sticky note. On the board, Sarah Danner, Target. Aaron stared at it for a long time. She's not just a loose end, she's a message. Tick, tock. The police car hadn't moved all day. Neither had she. She sat in the center of her apartment, lights on, every clock unplugged or face down. She didn't notice the envelope until midnight. No stamp, no handwriting. Just 3 words typed. Your second hand slipping. Chapter 16, seconds before. Every clock is silent just before the hour strikes, and Ellis is ticking too loud. She's painting again. Not with brushes, those were too quiet. She liked the sound the knife made. It scraped, it whispered. It reminded her of the old house and the lines she carved in the wood under her bed frame. The figure hung crooked on the wall, made of clock parts, hair, blood. She wouldn't say it was hers. The pieces had no eyes, only hollow circles where they should be. Time can't see what it's done, she whispered. She wasn't afraid anymore. Fear had passed through her like a wind on through broken glass. There was only purpose. But Sarah was different. Not a target, not a symbol, but a ghost that wouldn't stay buried. She hadn't meant to think about her again, but the last kill left something behind. A question, a weight, a tether. Why did you tell them, Sarah? She whispered. You were supposed to understand. She ducked the blade into the wall, began drawing another clock. This one stopped at 12:06. Tuck. The morning fog hadn't burned off yet. It clung to the windows of the precinct like frost. Mason stared at the grainy photo of the gear left at the last crime scene. The killer was close, always one tick ahead, never too far. But this was the first time he left something behind. She slid it over to Vega. He raised an eyebrow. Looks like the kind from an old grandfather clock. Matches the style we found in his original mentor's journals. Except this one's polished, maintained, Mason said. Vega frowned. You think he's communicating? I think, Mason said slowly, he's warning someone. They both looked at the wall. The photo of Ellis stared back, her eyes caught mid-blink in the camera lens from a gas station 2 nights ago. She's not being hunted, Vega said. She's being watched. Mason nodded. And then she said what neither of them wanted to say. She's about to do something big. Tick. Authorities are still requesting assistance from the public in identifying a suspect connected to what some have begun calling the Clockwork Murders. While police have yet to confirm a copycat, internal sources suggest some victims were killed with methods that deviate from the original killer's signature. New developments also indicate that several of the earliest suspected suicides may in fact have been part of a coordinated pattern spanning nearly 15 years. Residents are urged to remain aware of surroundings and report any signs of realistic carvings or unusual clocks to local authorities. Tick. She hadn't left the apartment all day. The windows were locked, the blinds were drawn. Her phone turned off, her clock unplugged. But she could still feel the ticking, not from him. She knew somehow that the main killer, the one that the news kept whispering about, wasn't coming for her. But Ellis was circling. Not out of hate, not out of love, out of that fractured need. Sarah remembered from their childhood when Ellis cut her own hair with safety scissors to match Sarah's, or stolen Sarah's notebooks and rewrote the pages with her own handwriting. To be seen, to be mirrored, to be shared. It wasn't protection Sarah needed, it was distance, but nowhere felt safe enough or far enough. Tick. He stood outside the safe house, listening. Ellis was still inside, still creating, still wrong. He would let her finish, let her mark one more hour, let her place her final number. Then the correction would come. She didn't know it yet, but her part in the machine had long been removed. She was ticking on inertia now, no longer connected to the spring. The longer she moved, the more the machine suffered, and machines must not suffer. Tick. He turned away from the window,